Welcome back to another episode of Stupid Geek Tricks. So Silicon Dojo is going really well. We've had lots of in-person classes at this point. We have a number of seminars. We're even doing fireside chats. We had a fireside chat last month. We've got 3 more lined up. So we're going to be having CEOs and such come in next month, July, August, September. Everything's going great. So the next thing that I want to do with Silicon Dojo is start doing more hands-on, practical, like experiential work for our students. One of the big issues you get to in the technology world is that people sit there and they learn things in class and they take tests and they take quizzes, and then about 2 days after they finish the class, they can't do anything with what they've supposedly learned. That's not useful. So one of the things I want to do is I'd actually like to have a lab night every week. Basically, the lab night will be directed labs, or they're not classes per se, but basically we walk through different projects to, again, either actually solve real world problems or at least simulate solving problems. So this is one of the first labs that I want to do. Network monitoring is I think it's a very useful lab to do in educational environments because this is a practical thing that every technology professional should understand, and it allows you to send commands to the operating system. It allows you to parse responses back. It allows you to format those responses, if-else statements, right? It's one of those things like ping is on every single computer you're ever going to use, and so all we're doing is we're using the power of ping to learn how to build, again, an actual useful app. So this is a network monitor. So essentially I have a list. So within my Python script, I have a list of IP addresses and fully qualified domain names. So 192.168.1.20 is my quote-unquote server that's sitting right there. We have Salesforce.com, Google.com, and Cisco.com. So this is a list. So this list literally comes just from the Python script. So it could be whatever it is you wanted. It could be your routers, your firewalls, whatever. And the idea here is so it pings. So it basically does a simple ping command to see whether or not the server is in fact up or down, or if there's some kind of other weird problem. And that's kind of normal, right? Okay, so you got the ping, and so it's green. So if it's up, it's green. Behind the background color is green. If it's down, it's red. But then the other thing that I did is one of the big issues in the networking world is latency, right? So with ping, you have the round trip time, the RTT time, and this shows you how long it takes to go for your ping to go from your computer to the server or the networking equipment and come back to you. And so not only do we have whether it's up or not, but it also is trying to show us the latency here, and the background color changes depending on what that latency is. So Google.com stays down at 19.5 milliseconds, so that's really good. Oddly enough, and again, this is real world. Oddly enough, the computer that's literally sitting right beside this computer is up at 206 for some reason. Then we can see Salesforce is like 56. So basically, we just have if-else statements to change that background color. And this is a good way. Imagine if you have this sitting up, just on a monitor somewhere, and so you can constantly just take a look and make sure everything looks, appropriate with your network and all that. This is a very simple script, very, very simple script. So we import the OS module, we import time for sleep, we create a list for all the hosts, we have a pause time, we create a variable for what is success, we create a variable for what is failure, we create the header. So this HTML header here, the big thing this does is it allows us to auto refresh. So this forces the HTML page to auto refresh. So this script is automatically recreating a new HTML page every few seconds. And so this will auto refresh. Then we do a while true. So this goes on forever and ever, amen. We create a table for X in hosts. So every value in host, we're going to go through here. We're going to parse everything. We're going to create all of the table rows and the table values. We're going to put background colors and all that kind of stuff. And then down here, we're going to write to a file called network.html. It is going to be overwrite, so it's going to be basically erased and overwritten. And then as this is going on for troubleshooting purposes, we also see what's going on down here. 192.168.20 is up, and it gives us, god damn, that's a horrible ping time. Salesforce is up, ping time. Google's up, ping time. Cisco is up, ping time. So this here as a troubleshooting routine, so we can verify what Python is getting back to parse, and then this is what actually comes up. So if I go over here, right? If I go over here and I simply turn off my network card, I turn off, so we can now see that's off. Then in a few seconds, because it actually has a timeout, so this kind of slows everything by a little bit. But in a few seconds, we should see that 192.168.1.20 will now be down. And there we go. So 192.168.20 is down. We have no latency because there is no connection. Everything else is up. That's the only, to be clear, if you actually are going to use this in the real world, this can be the only issue. So you have to wait for the timeout. You have to wait for the timeout for the response not to come back. And so, it's, I don't know, 5 to 10 seconds in timeout. So if you have a lot, this is just a list. So you could literally put 100 fully qualified domain names or 100 different IP addresses here. And if you did, you'd have to wait for the timeout on each and every one. So I think that's the only thing I might, theoretically, I might design it differently, like maybe running different ping commands or something. I don't know, or like it's blocking basically. So I don't know, but that's something just to think about, just to ponder. But anyways, so these are this is the kind of stuff that we're going to be doing, and this is a project that is now live. I'll put a link down in the doobly-doo, as I say, but you can go here, and we've got on silicondojo.com, we have the network monitor with HTML dashboard. You can download the source code here. This shows you what's going on, and then this is all the code for it. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing too. One of the things I like about this, I'm trying to pretend to be a better coder, so if we look at the page source, you can actually see that the source is formatted decently. Again, one of the things to be getting students to think about is how you format text. So there's formatting for HTML. CSS and HTML gives us that. But what if somebody needs to go in and take a look at the source to see what's going on, to see if there's a problem? So that's where here, you'll notice, we got TTs, so we've got TTs, NTTs. This is text formatting. So next line, tab, and that's what gets us the nice formatting here. So not only are you learning the networking type stuff and all that, but also, again, how to code so that the formatting looks good, whether you're a user or a technical person. And the other thing cool with this too is, like, literally with this going on, if you had an Apache server, so let's say this was an Apache server, you could dump this into var www HTML. Instead of calling this network.html, you could call this index.html, and then anybody on the network could be able to get access to it. So that could be something, again, for your users. One of the big things in the real world, being a technology professional, is the more tools you can give your users, the better, right? So if you had some kind of network monitor like this running on your internal network, and then you told all of your managers that this site existed, then when their users, when their employees started having problems, they might pull up the dashboard to see what's going on before they even talked with you. So again, these are the kinds of things to think about as a tech professional, and what we're going to be doing at Silicon Dojo. And if you're sitting here going, Eli, I thought you said you weren't going to be on YouTube for 60 days. I don't really feel like this is a YouTube video. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no part of me that really feels like this is gonna go viral. Be like, oh yeah, remember when I did that video on the HTML dashboard monitor? Yeah, that made me $1 million. I just don't think that's gonna happen. So I will probably still do these hands-on, the ETCG experiments. Because I just don't believe this is YouTube. Like when you think of YouTube and when you think of social media, I do not believe you're thinking about posts like this. At least I'm not. So anyways, hope to see you at Silicon Dojo. Again, every week we have classes. We have a fireside chat coming up, and then, like I said, we're going to start doing these labs. So I think Thursday nights. I think I'm solidifying on Thursday nights. Maybe every Thursday. It takes a lot of work, so maybe every other Thursday or something. The idea is, again, we're going to have these kinds of projects where you're actually building things and then trying to get a better idea of, again, how to build stuff and how to really think about problems and solving problems in a way that's actually useful to the end user. So anyways, if you like these videos, give us a thumbs up. If you don't like these videos, you can also still give us a thumbs up. I'm just saying you can. Leave a comment if you want, I guess. I don't know. I'm not going to read it. Anyway, see y'all later.